I start recording, then I can
Yes.
start.
Wait, just give me 1 minute.
Okay, you can start, Prof.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Thank you very much, Professor Abdulaziz Barguk, Professor Israr Ahmad, Associate Professor Dr. Fatmir, and Dr. Assistant Professor Dr. Mohammed Farid, and my dearest brother Muhammad Asht, and all other participants. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome for this monthly departmental seminar. In the month of this May, I organized 2 seminars because in the month of June, we will start our finalizing the semester. So student and staff, all of them would be busy. So there would not be any other seminar in the month of June. So I brought this a little bit early in this month. So this is in May's 2nd seminar. Alhamdulillah. Earlier we invited Professor Manzoor Bhatt from Kashmir University. Now as today, Professor Israr is with us, who is not unknown to us. Everybody know him in our campus. He was with us for several years, for more than 2 decades. He served our university. So with this welcoming remarks, I invite the moderator of today, Dr. Muhammad Farid Ali, Assistant Professor in the Department of Fiqh and Usul al-Fiqh, Chief Editor of Islam in Asia, and Head of the Unit for Research in the Kulliyyah of Islamic Revealed Knowledge and Human Sciences. Very active, very productive academic staff of our Kulliyyah. I am happy to welcome Dr. Farid on behalf of the Department of Usuluddin and Comparative Religion, who willingly and happily accepted our invitation to be the moderator for this seminar today. And inshallah, he will give you the detailed introduction of Professor Dr. Israr Ahmad, today's speaker, and the topic and all other things. So now I hand over the session to Dr. Muhammad Farid Ali, who is looking like Egyptian, Tunisian, and Arabian. So please enjoy his face and his turban especially, and also his introduction of the speaker. Thank you very much, Dr. Farid.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And let's start our session with Surah Al-Fatiha. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahmanir Rahim Malik Yawmiddin. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. I would like to start with a small muqaddimah and then I will go to the introduction of our respected speaker, Professor Israr Ahmad Khan. And I would like to start first with a small note with the mode of study of the Quran. Normally the previous focus used to be on verse by verse exposition of the Quranic verses. Now, I am not saying that this mode of study is outdated or no longer valid. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that this mode of study is for foundation building, for people who are specializing in the Quranic studies. It is for the early stages. On the other hand, the thematic study of the Quran, it synthesizes the themes of the Quran, right? This mode of study is in terms of explaining the message Quran intends to communicate to people is more clear and effective, right? So that's why you can see there is a trend that we are talking about themes. Thematic study, because it synthesizes the message Quran wants to communicate with us, communicate with the people, right? So in verse by verse exposition, scholars, they get entangled with the technicalities, and then often the message is not formulated into palatable size for intellectual consumption, right? So so that is why this mode of study, where scholars talk about themes, is very effective, and mostly people who are not into Quranic studies, they get the prepared and in a formulated message of the Quran through this mode of study, which people can understand and they can instill it in their life. Now, but to do the to be into thematic studies or to talk about themes of the Quran, it takes years of experience, and that is why we always enjoy when Professor Israr Ahmad Khan, when he talks to us about themes of the Quran, because we are talking about a man who has indulged himself in Quranic studies for years. And normally what people do not know is that they think that Prof. Israr's journey started from IIUM, but that is not true. Right? His study is actually his journey of teaching Quranic sciences and other sciences, religious sciences. Actually, it starts from Aligarh University, which is itself unmatchable. All right. So Professor Israr Ahmad Khan is teaching Quranic sciences, all right, Nazmul Quran, and then Ulumul Quran, Ulumul Hadith, and then also with the Ulumul Hadith, he also he taught Fiqh Sirah, and then also Manahijul Mufassirin, the methodologies of the Quranic Mufassirin, and then also beside this, he also has a expertise which people do not know, that he is also expert in human sciences, right? Psychology, sociology, modern Islamic thought, right? Which actually provides him a better position and extra what do you call this capability to tell us through this experience the themes and how these themes, what is the status of these themes. Because you see, if you see the topic of our discussion today, Prof. Israr is not only going to talk about the major themes of the Quran, but he is also talking about the reflection on the contemporary actualization, right? That how much people are putting these themes into their life, all right? Nahwa taf'il, are people really practicing on it? Are they applying it in their life, right? So that's why we are actually fortunate today to have Prof. Israr Ahmad Khan with us today to talk about the themes and also to talk about the status, the contemporary status of these themes, whether people are understanding it or not, or whether people are practicing on it, to what level, to what extent. All right. So I think now, without any further ado, we want to give him more time, all right, so that he can have this enough time to talk to us and to share with us and demystify, right, the themes, the major themes of the Quran. So with this, I would like to invite our respected professor, and I also call him my sheikh, all right, that Professor Dr. Israr Ahmad Khan, from Turkey. He is based there. And please, فليتفضل المشكور.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الكريم وعلى آله وأصحابه وأزواجه أجمعين إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Professor Dr. Mohammed, Dr. Muhammad Farid, Dr. Fatmi Shehu, my dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As announced earlier, the focus I have to make is on major themes of the Qur'an from the perspective of contemporary actualization. The first question which the humanity faces today is, why do we always talk about the Quran? What's so special with the Quran that we should always take into consideration the Quranic messages in order to achieve what the man is determined to achieve? Surah Al-Imran, ayah number 2, makes it very clear as to why the Quran is needed to be looked at, to be read, to be deliberated over, to be consulted, and to be implemented in day-to-day life and activities. نزل عليك الكتاب بالحق مصدقا لما بين يديه من التوراة مصدقا لما بين يديه وانزل التوراة والإنجيل. This second ayah of Surah Al-Imran makes the position of the Quran very clear compared to the previous scriptures, particularly Torah and Injil. It says, نزل عليك الكتاب. He, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, revealed to you al-kitab, not kitab, al-kitab. Why? Because before this al-kitab came down, there were 2 more revelations, Injil and Torah. These 2 revelations were lost because of one or the other reason. Now what remains in place is Al-Kitab. Al-Kitab, if I am given the chance to translate it, it is manual for human life. Torah is no longer the manual for the human life. Injil is no longer the manual for the human life. It is the Quran which serves as manual for the human life. Manual to see who the man is. Manual to see what the man's origin is. Manual to see the needs of man. Manuals to see the problems of the man. Manual to see how to solve the problems faced by man. That is why the Quran, which serves as manual for human life, needs to be deliberated over again and again, time and again, over and again. We cannot afford to avoid the deliberation and the consultation with the Qur'an. The Qur'an is for the humanity, for the human beings, for the mankind, irrespective of their caste, creed, region, color. It is for everyone. It's not for only those who believe in it or the Muslims. It's for the entire humanity. And it is only for the humanity. No other beings have been addressed in the Quran. It addresses Ya ayyuhan nas. For example, in Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah 21, Ya ayyuhan nas u'budu rabbakum alladhi khalaqakum walladhi min qablikum. O mankind, submit yourself to your Lord who created you and who created those before you. Ya ayyuhan nas, human beings. In Surah Al-Baqarah, there is an ayah 62. إن الذين آمنوا والذين هادوا والنصارى والصابئين. 4 addresses appear in this ayah. Believers, Jews, Christians, and Sabians. Who are they? They are human beings. Jews are human beings. Believers are human beings. Christians are human beings. Sabians are human beings. In Surah Al-Baqarah, ayat 40 and also 47, address Ya Bani Israel, اذكروا نعمتي التي أنعمت عليكم وأني فضلتكم على العالمين. Bani Israel, the entire Jewry, the entire community which hails from Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam through his son Ishaq. Ya Bani Israel, who are they? Human beings. In Surah Al-Hujurat, we find the mention of A'rab. قالت الأعراب آمنا. A'rab, the villagers, the Bedouins, they claim that they believed. Who are they? A'rab are not the hidden creations, they are human beings. In Surah Al-Munafiqun, as we know very well, ayah number 1 refers very clearly to the hypocrites in the mankind among the humanity. إِذَا جَاءَكَ الْمُنَافِقُونَ قَالُوا نَشْهَدُ. Munafiqun, who are they? They are human beings. The first verse of Surah Al-Tahrim. Yeah. And also Surah At-Talaq. Ya ayyuhan nabiyyu, lima tuharrima ma ahallallahu lak, tabtaghi marzata azwajik. O Prophet, who was the Prophet? He was a human being. It's very clear from the words of address we find in the Quran that the Quran addresses the humanity, entire humanity without any exception at all. In this address to the human beings, the Quran deals with a number of subject matters, ideas, messages, precepts, concepts such as unity of God, unity of man, historical narratives. Adam, Noah, Chase, Idris, Hud, Saleh, Ibrahim, Ismail, Ishaq, Yusuf, Shu'aib, Moses, Jesus, Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Historical narratives. Glad tidings are there. If you do this, you will be rewarded heftily. And also, there is a warning in the Quran. Everywhere one can find the warnings scattered in the Quran. The Quran mentions the unseen world, unseen creatures, moral principles, human nature, human needs, human problems, solution to human problems. All these subject matters could be summarized, as the Quran has summarized, by reading Surah Al-Anbiya, Ayah 10. لَقَدْ أَنزَلْنَا إِلَيْكُمْ كِتَابًا فِيهِ ذِكْرُكُمْ أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ. We have indeed revealed to you a book which deals with your life, your origin, your needs, your problems, and solution to your problems. فِيهِ ذِكْرُكُمْ. The Quran consists of human descriptions, the description of human life. After having deliberated over these subject matters, one could arrive at a conclusion that the Quran seeks to achieve 4 targets. 4. Not 5, not 3, not 1, not 2, 4 objectives. We talk very much about Maqasid al-Sharia. We talk very little about Maqasid al-Quran. People have started talking about Maqasid al-Quran, but to me, it's like still groping in the dark. What are those 4 objectives of the Quran? Orientation of human individuals, formation of human society, evolution of cultural milieu, creation of human civilization. These are the 4 objectives. See, as for the orientation of human individuals, you can see hither and thither in the Quran that each and every individual has been invited to think, to choose, to act. For example, Surah Al-Isra, around 16 ayat from 23 until 38. These ayat talk about certain principles and values directly or indirectly related to each and every individual living in the society. Everything that man needs to inculcate, right from the relationship with the parents to the economic matters, political issues, cultural items, moral principles, all these have been discussed over there. For what? So that the man could emerge oriented. Orientation means training, as we know. Training for what? To bring about the complete being in every individual. Surah Al-Jumu'ah, ayah number 2. هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل لفي ضلال مبين. The Prophet ﷺ had been tasked to train individuals by reciting the revealed messages, by purifying their thoughts and behaviors, and by teaching them the messages revealed in the book, and by leading them to the implementation of the Quranic messages from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Orientation. Orientation. It should be borne in mind that the orientation is of each and every individual, male, female, young, old, shopkeeper, customer, the king, the subject, the teacher, the student. Orientation. How to go, where to go, why to go, what to do, when to do, why to do. Orientation. After the orientation of man has been fully achieved, consequently there is the emergence of a society. Society has been formed. So the formation of human society is one of the objectives of the Qur'an. For example, the Qur'an has used the word ummah, ummah, at a number of places. One of them is Surah Al-Imran 110. It's very famous ayah. Kuntum khayra ummatin ta'muruna bil ma'ruf wa tanhauna 'anil munkar wa tu'minuna billah. Ummah. It is to be borne in mind. I would like to share with you that this ayah should not be the reason for believers to be proud of their position as what has been referred to in this ayah. No. Right from the day when the prophets were raised, Adam, Nuh, Shis, Idris, Hud, Saleh, Ibrahim, Ismail, Ishaq, Jesus, Moses, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, kuntum, yani all human beings, and all the books, all the prophets invited the humankind, their own people, their own community, to form a society. Kuntum, laysa antum. You were, you have been. It's a translation, it's not you are. You have been. You have always been. You are still that particular society which serves the purpose of this and this and blah, blah, blah. Another objective of the Quran is evolution of cultural milieu. It's not enough that the society has been formed. It's not enough that the individuals have been oriented and trained from all dimensions. It is necessary that their appear, culture, everywhere, morning and evening, day and night. I would like to share with you my own experience in Ankara, Turkey. When I walk with my wife on the roads, I can see that there are people, male and female, both male and female, never gaze at my wife. Never and never. Never. They cut the side. They change the road. They change the side. And they lower their gaze. Really, they lower their gaze. This is culture in Turkey. This is culture in Turkey. This cultural milieu is to be evolved. This is one of the objectives of the Quran. As we know, in IIUM, everywhere, wherever you go, Assalamu alaikum, Assalamu alaikum, Assalamu alaikum. This is culture. This is culture. Likewise, the Islamic culture, the culture promoted by the Quran is to be evolved everywhere. Culture. See, for example, in Surah Al-Imran itself, ayah number 104, it's very famous ayah. وَلْتَكُمْ مِنْكُمْ أُمَّةٌ يَدْعُونَ إِلَى الْخَيْرِ مَزَنَانِ بَيْ يَدْعُونَ إِلَى الْخَيْرِ. What do we mean by? What does the Quran mean by يَدْعُونَ إِلَى الْخَيْرِ? The people who have been tasked to invite the mankind to the khair. Khair is actually to create. يَدْعُونَ إِلَى الْخَيْرِ. They invite the creation, evolution of the cultural milieu. Khair. Khair. Social khair. Familial khair. Political khair. Economic khair. Cultural khair. Educational khair. Intellectual khair. Devotional khair. Khair. يدعون إلى الخير. This is evolution, the process of evolution of cultural milieu. A milieu dominated by the Quranic principles. The Quranic principles. And another objective of the Quran is creation of human civilization. There are so many verses in the Quran referring to this fact. I read only one. Surah Ash-Shura, ayah number 13, 1-3. شرع لكم من الدين ما وصى به نوح والذي يوحينا إليك وما وصينا به إبراهيم وموسى وعيسى أن أقيموا الدين ولا تتفرقوا فيه. The word ad-din is generally translated into English by scholars as religion. I have a strong opposition and reservation to this translation. Deen actually is what we can try to find out from the phrase Aqimuddin. Aqimuddin means establish, create. Deen. Deen means path. Deen means way. Deen means habits. Deen means manners. Establish manners. I say deen here means human civilization. The human civilization sought to be created as available in the Quran is to be focused on. Creation of civilization. It includes all that is needed to be in civilization. It includes state, administration, whatever is needed, economic system, political activities, the parliament, the market, everything falls under civilization. The Quran wants to create the human civilization. Human civilization. Human means the civilization which which takes care of all the human beings from all angles in the life. Now the question arises, is it the major theme of the Quran? Are these objectives major themes of the Quran? Yes, we may consider these four objectives as the major themes of the Quran, but you know, for individuals, for society, for the milieu, for the civilization, the Quran has forwarded, advanced certain particular common principles. Actually, actualization of these common principles could be considered major themes of the Quran. Quran seeks to bring about changes in the human life from these angles. I read an ayah. You know, the significance of this ayah is that right from the time of our last Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam until today, in every Friday khutbah, this ayah is surely recited from the pulpit across the world. Inna Allah ya'muru bil adl. This is Surah An-Nahl, ayah 90. Inna Allah ya'muru bil adl wal ihsan wa ita'i zil qurba wa yanha 'anil fahsha'i wal munkar wal baghi ya'izukum la'allakum tadhakkarun. It is to be deliberated over. Hey, why Imam, Khatib, speaker from the pulpit necessarily recites this ayah? Why? Why? Because the principles advanced through this ayah are actually the constituents of the major themes of the Quran. Yes. Allah indeed commands holding of justice, to uphold justice, to do ihsan, and to do ita'i zil qurba, and to refrain from three things: al-fahsha, al-munkar, al-baghi. To uphold three things: al-adl, al-ihsan, and ita'i zil qurba. And to refrain from al-fahsha, al-munkar, al-baghi. This is what the individuals are required to be oriented for. And this is what the society is to be developed on. And this is what the cultural milieu could be referred to. And this is what the human civilization stands for. Al-Adl. You know, in Surah Al-Hadid, ayah number 25, makes it very clear that all the prophets, all the messengers, right from Adam until the last one, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, alayhi wasallam, were tasked, were given the mission of creating justice on the surface of the earth. لقد أرسلنا رسلنا بالبينات وأنزلنا معهم الكتاب والميزان ليقوم الناس بالقسط. We indeed sent one after another prophets and messengers with three things: al-Bayyinat, al-Kitab, al-Mizan. For what? Al-Kitab was meant for what? Al-Bayyinat was meant for what? Al-Mizan was meant for what? لِيَقُومَ النَّاسُ بِالْقِسْطِ. So that the humanity could stand with justice, could experience justice, could deal among themselves with justice. Justice, justice, justice. This ayah makes it very clear that the objective of all the prophets, the mission of all the prophets without any exception, was to introduce the concept of justice and to implement the justice in life. Justice. Al-Ihsan. Inna Allah yamuru bil-adli wal-ihsan. It's not enough to implement justice, because mere justice might become something injurious without ihsan. Ihsan is generally translated by scholars into English as generosity. No problem, but that's not the message conveyed through the term ihsan. Ihsan in Arabic means excellence. If you do justice, excel in that. If you allow me, I would like to bring an example from the West. You see, on YouTube, there are a number of videos in which there is a particular judge who decides on the basis of the evidence. And in the end, he finds the defendant with, say, for example, with $500. You are fined for the rash driving, $500. Then the defendant says, sir, I'm too poor to pay it. So that judge takes $500 from his own pocket and pays on his behalf. This is ihsan. You know, this ihsan needs to be implemented in the human interaction, in the social interaction, in the political interaction, in the economic interaction, in the educational interaction, in the intellectual interaction, in the spiritual interaction. For example, Surah An-Nisa, Ayah 36. وَاعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا بِهِ شَيْئًا وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا وَبِذِي الْقُرْبَى وَالْيَتَامَى وَالْمَسَاكِينِ وَالْجَارِ ذِي الْقُرْبَى وَالْجَارِ الْجُنُبِ وَالصَّاحِبِ بِالْجَنبِ وَابْنِ السَّبِيلِ وَمَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُكُمْ. This ayah brings into mention all the relationship in the society. And the ayah invites the society, the individuals, to always interact with others with ihsan. With ihsan, yani with excellence. Excellence. I give you an example. Last Sunday, Dr. Farid was planning to go out so early. So his mother asked him, "Where are you going, my son, so early?" He said, "Yeah, I have something very urgent." The mother is curious. Curious for what? Curious about the safety of Dr. Farid, her son. Then she asks again, "Where are you going so early? What's that urgent task?" He keeps silent. Then the mother asks a third time, "My dear son, where are you going? I'm very much concerned about you. This is not good time to go out. Please be careful." Then Dr. Farid reacts sharply. "Mama, don't disturb me." See, what did you say? She is his mama. He has to rather he should go to mama, kiss her, hug her, and say in sweet words, "Mama, don't worry, Allah is with me, your dua is with me. I'm going to YA, there is a webinar in which Israr Ahmad Khan will be speaking, so I have to be there." Okay. This is ihsan. Ihsan. You see, your student is to be interacted by you with ihsan. Your wife needs an interaction based on ihsan. Your friends, your students, your shopkeeper, your customer, each and every individual is to be interacted with ihsan. Excellence. Excellence. This is major theme of the Quran. And this is evolution of cultural milieu. Ita zil qurba. The third major command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as expressed in Surah Nahl 9:0 is Ita zil qurba. If translated into English, it is giving to the next of the kin. Yani economic succor, economic help to the relatives. You know, this one is very much missing from today's social life. Yeah. We do donate, contribute in UIA to any third person, but we hardly contribute and donate to our uncle who needs that. Yeah. To our sister who may be below the poverty line, who needs to be looked at from the angle of economic succor, economic help. See in Surah Al-Isra, Ayah 26, lay emphasis on this particular matter. وَآتِ ذَا الْقُرْبَى حَقَّهُ. The Quran says this is the right of your relatives, that they should be given 200 ringgit every month, 2,000 ringgit every month. Yes. This is major themes of the Quran. If every individual takes care of his or her relatives from economic angle. There will be no poverty, there will be no suffering. This is a major theme of the Quran. And this is creation, this is evolution of cultural milieu. And this is creation of human civilization. This is orientation of individuals. And this is formation of society. What is the meaning of society? If there are individuals, if they are not related with each other, how could they get related with each other if there is an attitude of indifference? That's not my responsibility. Hey, this is your responsibility. And the three evil doings that needs to be refrained from, as mentioned in the same ayah, Surah Al-Nahl 90. وَيَنْهَى عَنِ الْفَحْشَاءِ وَالْمُنْكَرِ وَالْبَغْيِ. It's not enough that something positive is to be taken care of, is to be implemented in life. It is also necessary that if there are three things that are actually antagonistic ideas, antagonistic activities to al-adl, al-ihsan, ita'iz al-qurba. These evil doings, وَيَنْهَى عَنِ الْفَحْشَاءِ. Fahsha, anything indecent. Indecency, indecent words, indecent behavior, indecent gestures, fahsha. And everybody knows what fahsha is. So one needs, and the society needs, the civilization needs, the environment needs to keep away from fahsha, whatever is indecent. So in Surah Al-An'am, ayah 151, وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الْفَوَاحِشَ مَا ظَهَرَ مِنْهَا وَمَا بَطَنَ. Don't even go near fawahish, whether open or hidden. Yeah. Don't even go near. Don't even be close. Al-Munkar, it is also to be avoided. The individuals, the society, the civilization, the environment need to avoid Al-Munkar. Al-Munkar means what runs counter to the reason. I have borrowed this meaning from Muhammad Asst. He says Munkar is not simply evil. No. Munkar means whatever runs counter to reason. Yeah. Munkar. For example, see in the Jahili period, before the Bi'sa of the last Prophet ﷺ, the Arabs used to marry their own mothers after the demise of their fathers. Yeah. Surah An-Nisa 22. وَلَا تَنْكَحُوا مَا نَكَحَ آبَاؤُكُمْ. Munkar. It runs counter to the reason. It is to be avoided. And al-Baghi. Say for example in Surah Surah Nur, ayah 21 reads, يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تتبعوا خطوات الشيطان ومن يتبع خطوات الشيطان فإنه يأمر بالفحشاء والمنكر. Shaitan does not lead to anywhere but to fahsha and munkar, what runs counter to the human reason. And al-Baghy, in Arabic it has multiple connotations, but one of them is rebellious attitude. Al-Baghy, rebellious attitude. For example, in Surah Maryam, ayah 28, when Sayyidah Maryam alayhi salam entered the society with the baby in her arms, the people rushed towards her and commented, Ya ukhta Harun, ma kana abuki imra sawin wa ma kanat ummuki baghiyya. Your mama was not rebellious. How come that you have become rebellious? You have rebelled against the cultural milieu. So the people, in their capacity as individuals, in their capacity as society, in their capacity as the environment, in their capacity as the civilization, need to refrain totally from al-fahsha, from al-munkar, from al-baghy. This is actually the major theme of the Quran, and all these are meant for human beings. I would like to conclude now with my own observation. Today's age is the age of communication. Why are the other cultures, why are the other civilizations dominating the world? Because they have been thrown, they have been given to the people through communication. Communication has a psychological impact on the human mind. And you know, the very reason of the success of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam's mission was what is mentioned in Surah Al-Ma'idah 67. Ya ayyuhar Rasul, balligh ma unzila ilayka min rabbik. وإن لم تفعل فما بلغت رسالته. بلغ, O Prophet, O Messenger, بلغ, communicate as it should be communicated in full. If the communication is made of the messages available in the Quran about adl, about ihsan, about ita'iz al-qurba, about al-fahsha, about al-munkar, about al-baghy, there is no reason that the Quranic objectives could not be achieved. Quranic objectives could be achieved through aggressive, comprehensive, day in, day out communication. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم أجمعين وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم. Thank you very much.
Barakallahu Fiqh, Professor Dr. Israr Ahmad Khan. Indeed, you made it very clear, and I would like to just summarize, and then we will open the session for questions and answers. So today, Prof. Israr Ahmad Khan started his talk with the question, why we talk about Quran, why we need Quran. And then after that, he went into something very interesting, and that is the Maqasidul Qur'an, right? The four objectives of the Qur'an, which is orientation of every individual. Then number 2 was formation of human society, ummah. And then number 3 was evolution of cultural milieu, which is Quranic culture. And then number 4 was creation of human civilization. And here Prof talked about the word deen, that it means civilization. And then now what is interesting is that he went into that can these four objectives be considered as the major themes of the Quran? And he connected this with a very common ayah which is always read by the khatibs in the Jum'ah khutbah, and that is about adl, ihsan, and ita idil qurba, right? And then the opposite of this is fahsha, indecent behavior, and munkar, which is very interesting. Prof said that whatever encounters human reason, and he also told us that he is taking this meaning from Muhammad Asst. And then bagh, which is rebellious attitude. Now all these, that means they are adl, ahsan, and ita idil qurba. All these are connected with the four objectives. And similarly, when Quran is prohibiting us from indecent behavior, indecent activities, prohibiting us from all those thinking and fikr and actions which are encountering human reason, and also when Quran is prohibiting us from rebellious attitude, all these three also have to be understood in the context of the four objectives of the Sharia. And then the four objectives of the Quran, because we are so much used to in IUM about the four objectives of the Sharia, but today we are talking about the objective of the Quran, right? So, and this I think should be like the Maqasid Sharia has been made so common among students and lecturers. I think we owe it to Prof Israr Ahmad Khan that we should also now start talking about these four objectives of the Quran and make it common among our class discussion and in our seminars and in our talks. And then Prof went into conclusion, and which is very interesting, that he talked about the most important thing today is communication. And then he referred to Surah Al-Ma'idah, verse number 67, which is talking about Ballighu, all right? That these four objectives of the Quran cannot be realized, cannot be actualized unless we are conveying it, we are passing it from one generation to the other, we are talking about it with the people, communicating about it with others. So this is how I'm summarizing Prof Israr's today wonderful topic he presented to us, and actually it is also a soul awakening talk. So now with this, I would like to open the session for question and answers. We have still time up to 3:30, so let's have a good discussion. We have good 30 minutes. All right, so because now it's time here in Malaysia, it's Prof Israr, is 3:04, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so let's do this up to 3:30, and then we can say bye-bye, inshallah. So let's have some questions. Please, you can off your mic, tell us your basic detail information, your name, from where you are, and ask your question. Clear questions, eh? Or comments as well is welcome. All right.
Can I ask one question, Professor Dr. Farid?
Yes, why not, Prof?
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Israr, for your wonderful enlightening presentation on this theme. I just want to hear something from you. In what way your themes of the Quran are different and relevant for us from the major themes of the Quran as explained by Fazlur Rahman. Thank you very much.
Prof. Mumtaz, can we get the question again? Are you asking that how Prof. Israr's presentation of the major theme is different or from Fazlur Rahman's thematic study? Are you asking that question?
Major themes of the Quran, yes.
All right. Okay. I think that's a good question, and let's have a. I think it will pave some other discussions basing on the response of Prof. Israr.
It's a very valid question. I myself face this question, and I'm already prepared to share with you my own humble understanding on the matter raised. Professor Fazlur Rahman has referred to man and society. These are two major themes in the Quran according to his understanding. He has talked a lot on these two dimensions. I have tried to use the same things, man and the society, into a bit different dimension. You see, when he says man, what is the meaning of man? Individuals. And he did not talk about individuals or men from the dimension I have dealt with in my presentation. He talked a lot. His communication through his book, Major Themes in the Quran, is without any effect. It does not affect the reader. It seems that Professor Fazlur Rahman is talking from the dais of secularism. He is taking the Quran as one of the books, one of the sources used by the humanity. So he is just explaining to the West what Quran is dealing with from the angle of humanity. And likewise, the society, he has not talked about the formation of the society the Quran seeks to establish. And I have made it very clear that the Quran seeks to establish a society based on certain principles formulated, advanced, given by the Quran itself. And that's not the contribution of Professor Fazlur Rahman. Rather, in the major themes of the Quran, he has come up with another issue, confusing the reader's minds. He has made it very clear that, according to him, Surah Al-Baqarah 62 and Surah Al-Ma'idah 69 lay emphasis on the emancipation of humanity and the day of judgment without any nomenclature, be him or her, Muslim, Christian, Jew, Hindu, Buddhist, Jain, whoever he or she is destined to get the emancipation, provided he or she pays attention to three things: faith in Allah, faith in the day of judgment, and doing good deeds. And to me, this is highly objectionable idea. It rather contradicts the Quran. Quran, of course, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to forgive the entire humanity, that's not a problem, okay? Inna Allah ala kulli shayin qadir, ma fi mushkila. But we are talking about the Quran. Quran has enunciated, inna ad-deena inda Allahi al-Islam. وَمَنْ يَبْتَغِي غَيْرَ الْإِسْلَامَ دِينًا فَلَنْ يُقْبَلَ مِنْهُ. Islam means what? Professor Fazlur Rahman does not lay emphasis on the principles of Islam. Thank you very much.
Barakallahu fiqh, and I think it is clear, Prof's response to that. And can we have any more questions, please? We still have time. This is this type of opportunity we will not get again, since Prof Israr is here. All right, while you are trying to mull over and come up with a question, let me ask a question. Prof Israr Ahmad Khan, do you think this thematic study of Quran, is it the way to go forward in this century? And why it is important, or and you can also tell us if there is any shortcoming, because many scholars, they like, the good example is Fazlur Rahman, and many others are talking about thematic studies of the Quran. So you can also, if you can tell us what are the challenges scholars who are dwelling into this thematic study of the Quran. Thank you.
It's a reasonable question. To me, there is nothing wrong in dealing with the Quran from thematic angles. But the problem is that we have to understand the Quran first. How could we derive the themes from an ayah? If we don't apply a proper methodology to understand the Quran itself. You know, so far, right from al-Tabari, al-Farra, until today, Sayyid Mududi and others, you know, the methodology needed to be implemented in understanding the Quran is still incomplete. The focus is mainly on the words. And the objective of all these tafsir is generally fiqhi istinbatat. Yeah. So in order to drive the themes from the Quranic verses, from the Quranic surahs, from the Quranic passages, it is necessary to read the Quran right from the first word until the last, right from Al-Fatiha until An-Nas, by using a particular methodology that could be considered the viable methodology. To me, the viable methodology to understand the Quran, to interpret the Quran, is Nazmul Quran, coherence in the Quran. If we implement it, you know, by implementing coherence in the Quran and Nazmul Quran, the methodology, the themes will automatically be clear. One of the principles of Nazmul Quran methodology is central theme of each and every single surah. Yes, one has to deliberate to find out what is the central theme of Al-Baqarah, what is the central theme of Al-Imran, what is the central theme of Al-Nisa, Al-Ma'idah, Al-An'am, Al-A'raf, blah, 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 blah. It is necessary. And also, since in most of the surahs of the Quran, there are themes in every surah. Themes. For example, in Al-Baqarah, there are around 50 themes. 50 themes. These themes could be referred to as sub-themes. So how these 50 sub-themes could be connected, could be considered connected with the central theme of Al-Baqarah. Central theme of Al-Baqarah is, as I humbly understand, change of leadership from Banu Ishaq, from Banu Israel to Banu Ismail. This is the central theme. And from this central theme, okay, we can understand the significance of the sub-themes in Surah Al-Baqarah. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof. So you have pointed out to a viable methodology for those who want to dwell into thematic study, and that is mastering Nazmul Qur'an. All right, so this is very interesting, and because how I understand with my very limited limited experience in teaching Quran and Sunnah subjects, is that I feel that Nazmul Quran is one way to achieve holistic understanding of the Quran. Right now, everyone is like that story of the blind people touching the elephant, and everyone is thinking, just trying to figure out what part, and and they are not connected. Someone is touching the thigh, someone is touching the stomach, and they are thinking that is all. So this is a metaphor which we normally talk about, the elephant in the room. We are supposed to actually understand holistic meaning, and this is one of the problems now we Muslim societies are facing, that we have we are understanding Quran in isolation. It is not a holistic understanding. So sometimes important factors and elements are left out. So any other questions or comments? You can type. If your mic is not working, you can type it in the...
Dr. Farid, you have Zonera Ghafoor is raising the hand.
All right. Yes, please.
Assalamu alaikum, Prof. Assalamu alaikum, Prof. Israr. Hope you are doing well. Actually, I'm from Pakistan, and currently I'm in Pakistan. My question is from Dr. Israr, that what is the difference between coherence and sequence? Because a lot of Mufassir, they used word sequence instead of coherence.
I'm not so much expert of English language, but from my humble understanding, I can share with you the difference I have in my mind. Sequence may and may not be related to one another. You may say sequence means one after another. Yani once first it was said this. For example, I give you a very concrete example. In Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah number 29 deals with the creation of the entire universe. And from Al-Baqarah 30 to 38, the Quran talks about the creation of man. So the Mufassirun are of the view, see, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about the creation of the universe, khalq. After that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about khalqul insan, creation of man. This is sequence, but this is not coherent. We have to come up with the relationship between the two. Hey, why? Creation of universe, and immediately after that, the creation of man. That is called coherence. What is the relationship? In sequence, there is no question of seeking the relationship. since I have already referred to that example, let me share with you with my humble understanding, which I have borrowed from a great mufassir of the time, Maulana Amin Ahsan Islahi. In his Tafsir Quran, he has shown the coherence between the mention of the creation of the universe and the creation of man. He says, before these ayat, before 29, there is a mention of 3 categories of people: the believers, the non-believers, the hypocrites. 3. You look right from the first ayah in Al-Baqarah until 28, you will find that the categories mentioned and dealt with there is related to the believers, the non-believers, and the hypocrites. Actually, after mentioning the creation of the universe, the creation of man has been described. It is actually an invitation. Invitation. In the coherence, the relationship between an ayah and the next ayah is not sought. No. Between one particular sub-theme and another particular sub-theme, the relationship is sought. That is called coherence. So what is the coherence between the ayat right from 1 until 29 and the ayat dealing with the creation of man 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38? The coherence is, as Maulana Amin Islai says, okay, I fully confirm it, okay, and this is in my heart. He says that by describing the story of creation of Adam, total, you see, there are 2 characters in the story of creation of Adam: Malaika and Iblis. So the people, the 3 people, the believers, the non-believers, and the hypocrites have been asked, hey, come over. Are you with Malaika, the attitude they opted for? Are you with Iblis? He opted for. Where are you? With whom you put yourself? This is coherence. Yani, according to Maulana Amin Islahi, this passage concerning the creation of man is actually a mirror. Mirror. Hey, look into this mirror. Where are you? How does your face look like? Does it look like Malaika? Does it look like Iblis? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much for the Zonera. Your question was a very good question. It generated a good discussion. Coherence and sequence, what is the difference? And we have heard from Professor Ahmad Khan, clear line of distinction can be drawn between the 2. And he also elaborated it with examples from Amin Islahi's Tafsir. Any other question, please? We still have time. We have about 5 more minutes. All right, then in that case, I would like to invite Prof. Israr Ahmad Khan to just enlighten us with his concluding remarks before I hand it back to Prof. Mumtaz. Some word of advice, because I can see many of us are lecturers here, and many of us the students are there as well. So some word of advice will be also good, because we are dealing with the Quran, we are dealing with the Sunnah. So please, Prof. Israr Ahmad Khan, enlighten us, please.
What do you mean by conclusion?
Yes, Prof.
What do you mean by conclusion? You invite me to conclude. What does it mean?
I mean, a remark, something which is advise us, because many of us here are lecturers in the audience, and
you want me to give
related to the topic you have talked about, but let's say advise us if we are using Tafsir and to prepare our lessons, or advise us something relating to this.
Okay. The Quran does not need to be recited with empty mind again and again, time and again, over and over again. The Quran needs to be deliberated over. Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Masud radiallahu anhu, his followers, his disciples always insisted on him to give more khutbah, more nasiha, more advices. So he tried to refrain from that. He says that one ayah, I deliberate over it again and again, time and again, in order to drive the message therein. And then I try to implement in my own life. I share with you, it is not an advice, this is not a suggestion, this is just sharing my own experience. I have written a lot, I have talked a lot, and these talks are available in print form, in video form. I have elaborated that methodology, which I call Bible methodology. Rather, I say the most Bible methodology. I don't reject the ideas of others, okay? Everyone has the right, okay, to come up with one or the other way to interpret the Quran. But this methodology, known as Nazm al-Quran or the coherence, has actually 10 principles, 10 steps. 10 steps. If these 10 steps are taken into consideration while reading the surah, let us not read the Quran, let us read the surah. Let us read the Quran surah by surah, not ayah by ayah, surah by surah. So this Nazm al-Quran methodology is implementable in reading surah. If every surah is read in the light of these 10 principles, so I not simply hope, I believe that there will be the revolution in understanding the Quran.
Thank you very much. And that means, Prof. Mumtaz, now you know it is very clear what will be the next topic of the webinar, and that is the 10 principles, which we can have another webinar some other day, because
Inshallah.
because Prof. Israr has provided us this guideline. This is very interesting. We were always busy reading ayah by ayah, verse by verse. But now the advice is to read surah by surah within the light of those 10 principles of coherence. So that means now we need to, inshallah, have this special webinar on 10 principles. Inshallah. And with this, I would like to thank Professor Ahmad Khan for his valuable advices and valuable topics which he have discussed, actually shared, especially the most important thing for today, the take-home point today is the Quranic maqasid. All right, so this is very interesting, the 4 maqasid, and I would like to repeat it again: orientation of every individual, formation of human society, evolution of cultural milieu, and creation of human civilization. And now with this, I would like to hand over this session to the chairperson, Prof. Dr. Mumtaz. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much. Yes, first of all, I would like to request to all the participants, please open your video. Our brother Ashad will take some group photo for our memory and for our album. So please open all of you, open your video. Brother Muhammad Ashad will take group photo. Now it is my pleasant duty to offer thanks to everybody on behalf of the Department of Usuluddin and Comparative Religion. First of all, I would like to offer my thanks to the speaker, Professor Israr Ahmad Khan, who is really an expert among us today on the issue of the Quran and Quran themes and Quranic subjects. And we have to benefit from him time to time. I'm also thankful to my head of the department, Dr. Noor Surya, who attended the whole program to give her encouraging support to us. And I'm also thankful to the moderator, Dr. Farid. I'm thankful to Dr. Fatmi, Dr. Abdul Salam, and all those who attended this seminar. This webinar is always organized and arranged with the help of Brother Mohammed Ashad, who is giving full support to me. He is in my department and he is giving full support to me to make posters and advertisement, everything. And Dr. Fatimir is also very cooperative in this matter. So I am thankful to all of you, my dear participants. I am sure all of you have benefited from this presentation. This was very wonderful and eye-opening and mind-opening presentation. The last theme or the last objective which Professor Israr emphasized, the civilizational development. This is very important for us because our university is emphasizing on sustainable development. Sustainable development is part of civilizational development. So we have to have a clear understanding of both how we can assist for civilizational development by way of making sustainable development a concrete reality. So with all this, I thanks, and I see some other lecturers, other professors here who are attending this seminar. I thank them also, and I end with this, and I conclude. Brother Ashad, you have taken the photos?
Yeah, Prof. Done. Okay.
Thank you very much. So inshallah, we will have another seminar next. In June, there is no seminar because our student and we all are finalizing the final examination and results and everything. So inshallah, first week of July, there would be one seminar. A Pakistani professor will give his presentation on the topic, the views of Muhammad Asst on civilizational development and their relevance. On this subject, inshallah, he will give his presentation, who is considered an expert on Muhammad Asst. Thank you very much. With this, I once again thanks to all of you, and also humbly I offer my gratitude and thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Thank you very much, dear brothers.
Okay, thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. All of you.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much.
Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you very much.